Unlike everyone else starting video content this week, I will not be mentioning lore.
And this is awkward.
What's up, everyone? My name is Xizta, and welcome to episode 1 of Xizta Pulls Aggro. A lot of you have been asking me to do video content as of late, ever since Lore's big announcement that he was going off to Blizzard and would be stopping his content, so just want to say, without you guys requesting this probably would not be happening right now. For months now, we've kind of been speculating at what this quote-unquote game-changing feature that Ghostcrawler had previously announced could possibly be, and then Thursday, just before Legendary, we had an announcement from Nethera, who had posted on the WoW blog that they were adding flex rating to the game. But look at that, my hair changed. So while I was recording that, my cat Jasper decided he was going to jump up on my desk and knock over an entire can of Monster Energy all over me. So I had to go take a shower. But yeah. So, where was I? So for those of you who may have missed the announcement, Flex Rating is a new difficulty level added between LFR and 10 and 25 man normal. But the catch here is that you can have any number of players between 10 and 25, and the difficulty will scale accordingly. So what exactly does this mean? For the casual player, it offers an opportunity to raid with your friends in a less stress-free environment. I know when I was raiding with Lore and we had a bunch of our friends and stuff like that, normal just seemed a little too difficult for that particular group. It was just a bunch of people coming together one day a week, 4 hours, wasn't working too well. But what about the hardcore raiders? Isn't that giving them more content to run? Well, yes and no. Tipsilum on the EU forums has stated that there will probably be a timetable release along the lines of 10 and 25 man normal / heroic, flex rating, and then LFR shortly after that. So by the time LFR is released, most hardcore raiders will probably have their 4-piece bonus by then and won't have to run LFR. The biggest concern I've seen for flex rating is that LFRs are just going to die out, but I don't think that's the case at all. See, for flex rating, you still need a preformed group, and there's people that just don't have the time to commit to a set schedule, or people with 6 or 7 alts that will not be able to get every single one of their characters into a raid. That's the beauty of LFR. You can queue for those anytime you want. Queue up, listen to the Realm Maintenance podcast, do some pet battles, and just wait for your queue to pop. My biggest concern is burnout. See, I'm already sick of running Throne of Thunder LFR, and I don't even have my 4-piece yet. Adding an additional lockout to run each week is already giving me flashbacks of raiding in Wrath of the Lich King, where there was just way too much to do, and you got burnt out really, really quickly. So what are some of the positives for flex rating? Well, first and foremost are the obvious. Flexible raid sizes and a lower difficulty level means you can have more fun playing with your friends. You're not going to have to worry about if your healing monk forgot to put his healing glyphs in, price cut, and you'll just be able to have some fun, sing some songs, take down some bosses, call yourselves the karaoke dragon slayers. You'll also see servers coming back to create raid groups, effectively bringing back pugs that have been put to the wayside since Wrath of the Lich King. So how exactly does the loot work? Well, the loot, just like the difficulty level, falls between both the LFR and the normal 10 and 25 man groups. Loot will be handled the exact same way it does in LFR, bonus rolls and everything. However, I feel having a static drop for groups between 10 and 17 and 18 and 25 would ease you better into the transition of raiding between normal and LFR. Though I could see some problems with that system, bringing 18 players to maximize the number of drops and having the fewest amount of people possible to distribute it to. The interesting thing they mentioned is that achievements towards your Glory of the Raider will actually be able to be earned in flex mode. Still no word on pets or mounts, but I would assume the pets would continue to work the same way that they have in the Throne of Thunder LFRs, for example. Though there's no word on mount drops yet, I assume that they would, following in the footsteps of the world bosses. It's also safe to assume that they'll add another color variation for flex raid gear, adding a 4th color for transmogging. All in all, I feel this is a really good feature. The encounters alone will better help you prepare for normal mode raiding instead of just being numb to mechanics and face rolling your way across the keyboard through LFR. I know a few of you may be asking why changes like this are always added in the last tier of an expansion. We had LFR being introduced at the end of Cataclysm, and now we're having flex rating introduced at the end of Mists of Pandaria. So why exactly do they do that? Well, if the feature just doesn't go as planned, it's best to have it at the end of the expansion where the subscriptions are lower. You have less chance of losing reoccurring players than if you were to do it at the beginning of an expansion and it just doesn't quite end up the way they had planned. So thank you all for watching. This being my first video, I'm sure these will get better with time. So feel free to leave me a comment below or follow me on facebook.com/Xizta or twitter.com/Xizta with an underscore at the end. And give me some feedback. Let me know what you thought. Or if you have a suggestion for next week's show. Till then, I'll see you next week.